comic book series called The Bunker that is a group of friends. I'm going to get a plug in. See what I'm doing here? I learned well.
You guys are not good at this. I would have dropped 30 plugs already.
It's about a group of friends who get letters from their future selves telling them they're going to cause the apocalypse. And each of them have to decide, like, are they going to follow their hopes and dreams knowing that it's going to lead to the end of humanity? Or, you know, do they throw everything away? And it's the first one because, you know, they're dicks. But like where that came from is a lot of sort of like self-reflection because the reason I moved out here is I sold a TV pilot, and I sold it when I was 20 years old, and it was amazing. I was so psyched. Like literally on the floor of graduation, my cell phone rang, and it was a producer who had read my script who was like, "We want to make your show. You need to get ready." And we did pre-production, all that stuff, and then I finally got a call. Moved to Los Angeles. Cool. So I quit my job. I had a writing partner at the time. I had a kind of awful girlfriend. We got in the car. We left Boston on September 9th, 2001. We stopped in New York on September 10th. We went to my ex-girlfriend's high school, which is Stuyvesant, which is where the next day they would house everybody from, bodies and victims, everything. We left New York that night, September 10th, got to Pittsburgh where my parents lived, woke up the next morning to September 11th, and my essentially anti-establishment pilot suddenly didn't exist anymore. And so I had quit everything and sold all my stuff, and like, what was I going to do? So I moved out to California with this kind of nasty, mean girl who treated me really badly while I was like struggling to break into TV. And then in the process of doing that, I got a production job. The guy, my boss at the production job, was a big comic book nerd. He got me back into comic books. And then I realized like, oh, this is a way for me to tell stories that's way, way, way less expensive. And then became a comic book writer. Then being a comic book writer led eventually to me selling stuff, which eventually led to me becoming the TV writer that I left Boston to be in 2001. And I always think about, like, so had I told myself, like, hey, this thing that you're giving away your life for is never going to happen. Like, it's just going to disappear into the ether, and you have a good job that you like, you should just keep it. I wouldn't have all those things. If I didn't move out here with this terrible girl who, I was with her for 5 more years, and she really sucked. But the last thing she did when she left me was she got me a membership on Match.com. And, yeah. Oh, you guys... I'm like, but I will say, the reason she left me is she no longer needed a ride to college that I was paying for. Super awful. She was really awful. But so she got me a membership on Match.com. The last day of that membership, which I never used, because fuck her, the last day of that membership, I got a match. And that match is now my wife and the mother of my kid. So, like...
Do you know that story? The story would be funnier if you say, "In that match was another awful person who ruined my life." And then I've been trying to get rid of her ever since. And then I met my wife.
So, yes, that's my answer.